Hey everybody, we're here for another episode of Frenemies, the World Series version. And guys, I'm not really sure how we ended up with two Dodgers fans. I feel kind of bad for the Rays right now. But we got Brian Howard from Nashville, isn't that right, Brian?
We're currently in Smyrna, right outside of Nashville. But yeah,
right outside of Nashville. So it's good to have you on. Brian was our catcher in college, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, talk a little bit about the World Series. And what do you guys think so far? It's been pretty interesting, huh?
Man, it's been back and forth. It's been frustrating because we could have won the World Series last night without one of the worst plays I've ever seen in professional baseball on a stage that big. But I've been really tickled with just the steadfastness of our team and Clayton Kershaw. He's been I'm so proud of him, so happy for him, really. I didn't even know he was on the verge of setting the postseason strikeout until last night. And then for a guy that's supposed to be the dope in the postseason, that's a pretty good track record, you know? And
yeah, absolutely.
Two quality starts. So proud for him. Hope they can finish it off.
Yep. It's the depth of that team, and of both teams really has come out. I mean, these are the two best teams and just so deep, man. These a lot of these pinch hitters coming off the bench have had big ABs, and some relievers I've never even heard of had big outs, and I'm sure we'll get to all that. But it's been really fun to watch. What do you think, DJ?
Yeah, one of the things Howard actually mentioned in our Dodgers podcast was talking about how deep the Dodgers were and how some of the guys that are on the bench are starters on most teams. Boy, is that the truth, man. They got 11, 12 guys they roll out there that are starters on every other team, man. And it's gone a long way for the depth of the Dodgers. It's been a lot of fun to watch this series. I'm not going to lie to you. Every game so far has been completely awesome to watch. Game 2 was a little bit of a sleeper. I'm not going to lie. That was a tough game to watch. But the rest of them have been awesome. And I don't know how you guys feel, but, man, with watching the NHL and the NBA and their bubbles, it just didn't seem right at all, man. But watching baseball, man, it's been different. It's been fun. It's been way better than those other two by far. It always is, but don't get me wrong, but it's just been a lot of fun to watch, so I've been enjoying it thoroughly.
So before we get too far into all that, what do you guys think about Globe Life Field so far?
Man, what a stadium, man. I loved it. We were actually going to go down there this past summer. It was going to be go down to Kansas City, Houston, Rangers Field, and then back home on our vacation. So we were going to do a big loop there. So I was excited to do that. Obviously, that's probably what we're going to do next year now. So it looks awesome. You see it, the retractable roof, just a beautiful field, man. Looks like it's been a nice place to play.
And the way that field is held up through all of this. I mean, that field crew has done an unbelievable job. You hadn't seen pitchers complaining much about, mound surface, and those guys have been putting in some work. So I've been tickled with the optics are awesome there too. I think it's a beautiful place for sure.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the last field actually, but I totally get it now with the roof as hot as it is there. I know that hadn't come to play a whole lot so far, but it looks to be really nice. So looking forward to seeing more of that. On another note, Brian, would you like to comment on the fashion statement DJ's making right now?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on here. I understand that the Bears are playing, but I'm pretty sure it's not their 1997 throwback team that's playing right now.
DJ, who is number 54 for the Bears this year? Is there
Well,
anyone?
That number's retired. There's no way that anybody's going to wear that number ever again. So
I was just curious. Just wanted to make sure.
It's like the first thing, like ladies know when to stop wearing white pants. And know that Royal and Navy don't work together, like at all. I bet he's got on a black braided belt and some cargo shorts and floppy socks right now. Promise.
DJ, do you have some floppy socks on? Let's see them.
No, but I've got black shorts on, so he's right about that.
Just unbelievable. You can lead them to water, Can't make them drink. I tried.
So for all of our fans out there, we got to get to that. But first I want to talk about your socks, DJ, because most of our people won't understand what we're talking about. So we just got to cover this ground just so everybody's on the same page. So DJ, for as long as we've known him, has worn his socks like a Muppet, usually about 6 inches of flop. And so it's hard to understand, DJ. Is it just comfort? What is it?
Comfort, man. That's all I'm about. I just need to be comfortable. I ain't trying to impress nobody.
Somehow, in his tube socks, the calves were always blown out completely and just scrunching up around the ankle. I mean, you don't have big calves, bro.
The tube socks were socks on or something.
Just blown out and just flopping around everywhere. It was just ridiculous.
And off air, his son confirmed that it's still that way so bad that his dog chases him around and puts holes in his socks. That was confirmed. Am I right, Brian?
100%, dude. Nothing changes with this guy, dude. He's clashing and flopping. He's clashing, flopping, baby.
So real quick, DJ was leading us into it there a minute ago. Howard, I didn't know if you knew this or not, but we have a sponsor now. Did you know that?
White sauce?
The white sauce. Yeah. So if you could just give us a quick little commercial for the white sauce, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, let me tell you, man, DJ actually put me onto it not too long ago, and I ordered a double set myself and hooked it up with the family, and I got 2 students who they're big Alabama fans, and I was like, man, what do you think about Alabama white sauce? And he was like, oh, my dad loves it, but he can't find anything good. So I gifted it to them. They're twin brothers. And I was like, man, tell Pops to try this out. And they love it.
Attaboy.
They said they ordered some. I don't know if they did or not. But, man, that stuff is like a little taste of heaven. You can put it on wings. You can put it on barbecue sauce. You can put it on I put it on cheeseburgers. I mean, a salad dressing. I mean, you can do anything, but that stuff is like, man, make your tongue beat your brain to death. That's what it does.
Attaboy. If you guys haven't got you some white sauce, go to the whitesauce.org. If I'm not mistaken, you can order right off their website. Coach Hall will hook you up. All right, guys, World Series time. Let's do a little bit of World Series recap. I'll start out with game 1. You guys interject. I'm just going to go down kind of what happened, the short version. We can talk about it more. So game 1 was Glasnow versus Kershaw. Like we talked about a little bit off air, Kershaw doesn't have the best postseason stats, but he looked good. He's looked good so far this year. Nothing until the 4th inning. Cody Bellinger hits a 2-run bomb to put the Dodgers up 2-0. Kiermaier follows that up in the 5th with a solo shot, so it's a 2-1 game. In the bottom of the 5th, Muncy has a fielder's choice to score Betts, kind of a weird play. So it's 1st and 2nd, if I'm not mistaken, or runner on 1st. There was a runner on 1st and 3rd. Hot shot to Yandy Diaz. They had the infield pulled in. He kind of has to make an off-balance throw and gets no one. So my question to you guys is, coaches, do you take the double play, or are you trying to get that out at home?
To me, the way my philosophy is as a coach, early in the game, we're trying to turn it. And we'll live with it if we can't. In a 7-inning game in high school, we're going to be by the book in innings 1 through 4, maybe 5, depending on who's pitching and who's pouring it in. And then we'll do some things a little different in the 5th, 6th, 7th, or whatever. But I'm going to try to get 2 outs on 1 pitch every opportunity that early, for sure.
Yep, DJ.
There's no doubt. Yeah, we're always playing for 2 as well. I mean, like he said, you get in high school, 6th, 7th inning. Things change. You may still try to get the double play in certain situations, but you may still pull them in. It all depends on the situation of the game. But, yeah, I definitely agree with you, Howard, on that one for sure.
I thought it was weird, too. I mean, it's Betts at 3rd. It's not, the catcher or whoever at 3rd, your first baseman. It's Mookie Betts. And so that throw has literally got to be perfect or you're not getting him. So I'm like you guys. I probably would have went for the double play personally. Yeah. Will Smith follows that up with a single, which scores Seager. Then Chris Taylor follows that up with a single, which scores Muncy. And then Kike Hernandez comes in for Peterson, pinch hits, and he scores Smith. So next thing you know, it's 6-1. Betts comes up in the 6th. Betts had a huge game. Follows that up with a solo shot off of Fleming, opposite field. Muncy doubles in a run. So now it's 8-1. And the fat lady's warming up to sing. And the Rays had a little fight in them right there at the end, guys. Brousseau comes up in the 7th. He singles. It's 8-2, singles home a run. Kiermaier singles as well. It's 8-3. And so they had made a pitching change. Let's talk about that real quick, guys. So maybe a little bit of a quick hook on Kershaw. What do you guys think about that?
I hadn't really understood that this postseason, but Roberts has been quick with him. And I think he's a little bit of that is trying to help him. You know what I mean? But especially, I know we're talking about game one, but I think last night, 2 nights, whatever it was, I think he could have finished that inning for sure, Yeah. But I think a lot of it is metrics. Roberts, that's all he cares about, man, is what the little piece of paper tells him to do, So,
it seems like 85 pitches is the wall that they've set.
Yeah.
So that tells me his 85th pitch through his 100th, batting average is going up. Yeah. That's what I'm assuming. I'm not a Dodgers fan. I haven't followed the Dodgers, but that's what I'm assuming they're going for.
But in game one, he had the slider and the curveball going that night. Both were electric. Now, last night they weren't. Mm-hmm. He had the curveball. The old school curveball was good. The slider was non-existent. Mm-hmm. So I kind of get it, but I don't know. I wish they'd have hung with him a little bit. And like our bullpen's ERA is like over 6, 7 maybe right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like we got donkeys out there.
Yeah. DJ, what do you think? Quick hook?
No, I mean, the only other thing I can think of, the first game I didn't understand it. The only thing that I can think of in the last game Kershaw pitched is possibly keeping him there because maybe he comes out of the pen on Wednesday. Maybe he's trying to save some bullets out of Kershaw. I know that has not worked in the past, Brian. But this is maybe what he's thinking. I'm just saying, like, if you go to 100, Kershaw's probably toast. If you keep him at 85, maybe he can throw an inning or two on Wednesday night. I do not want him to. I agree with you 100%, Howard. But I think that may have had a little bit of factor into what happened the other night. Game one, I didn't really get that. I mean, he had 6 innings, 8 Ks, and 1 earned. He was just on. He was dominating. He could have kept going, no doubt, and he definitely got a quick hook on him.
So it's 8-3. It's the 7th inning. First and second, 1 out. Victor Gonzalez is on the mound. Honestly, hasn't looked very good so far. And Mike Zunino hits a rocket, and it just happens to fall right in his glove. Turnaround, double play, out of the inning, which ended up being the ball game. Betts had a big game, 2 for 4. Homer, 2 runs, 2 stolen bases. I think I read somewhere it's like the first time that's happened in the World Series since Babe Ruth. Yep. One thing that I thought was really strange, Kevin Cash, king of the quick hook, let Glasnow throw 112 pitches in 4 1/3. What do you guys think about that? He obviously didn't have it. He was all over the place. What do you guys think about that?
I think that kid he's electric, but I think they've mismanaged him in the postseason because of their lack of starting pitching depth. He was not right last night. I mean, everything's up. He's spiking balls. It's just – but that dude's good. And I don't know if they were both technically quality starts, but he's thrown the ball well. If he could just stay away from that home run ball that he tends to throw once every 2 or 3 innings, and they just hit him out. That dude's good, but he's had tough luck for sure.
He definitely, in the first game, threw a ton of pitches, was not good. And in the last game, to his defense – and a little bit to the manager's defense, he kept him in there. I thought in the 3rd inning he might get the hook, and he kept going with him, and they ended up being a 1-run game. So it actually ended up kind of working out for them a little bit.
That could help them win the series, for real.
Yep.
By stretching him out, yeah.
So they saved the pen even longer, and a lot of things worked in their favor because of that. So to their defense, they did a good job with him the second time around. The first time around, he was a nightmare. It was probably not even close to what they wanted out of him, and it was really, really kind of crazy to see the Dodgers get all over him in game one, but that was really huge for the Dodgers.
The Dodgers were really locked in. 174 pitches is what the Rays threw that game. That's like the old school Yankees, Howard. They just grind you to death, man, put you through the meat grinder, foul stuff off, 174 pitches. So hats off to the Dodgers. And something, again, I haven't followed the Dodgers that hard, but, man, the defense. Old Justin Turner, man, he made some plays that game. Bellinger robbed a home run. That defense saving them some runs. So, again, there's no wonder these two teams ended up here. They're the best two teams. And really fun first game to watch.
So, Howard, I got a question for you, Howard. So, Bellinger hit 107.8 miles an hour off the bat on his homer. And he has one of the craziest violent swings, launch angle, the whole deal. Just curious, as a high school coach, how much of the launch angle comes into effect on your batters?
You're going to probably hate my answer, but launch angle is not something you teach. It's a measurement. It's not something you teach. It's something you measure after it's over with. We don't ever talk about launch angle. We tell our guys, and I think this is what big league guys are doing now, we're trying to hit rising line drives into the gap. And if I'm under it that far, it's a home run. If I'm on top of it that far, it's a top spin spiker that nobody's catching. But if I try to hit this, you know what I'm saying, then I'm going to be okay. But I don't think anybody is teaching dip and yank. But a lot of the old school people are so twisted up because John Smoltz says you got to swing like this, and all these freaking idiots hit the top of the ball and throw up I'll give you 500 baseballs in a fungo bat, and you can swing down all you want to, and you can't get one out of the infield. You've got to be on plane with the pitch. That's all it is. And launch angle is the measurement of where the angle of the ball leaves the bat. So we don't ever talk about launch angle. Of course, we don't measure it in high school, you know what I'm saying? But we're trying to hit line drives over the infielders' heads, period. That's all we want to do. And if I just miss it that way, it's going to be pretty good. And if I just miss it this way, it's still pretty good. I try to beat it in the ground. I don't understand it. Yeah, we're trying to hit doubles. We're trying to hit the ball in the air over the infielders' heads.
Hey, are you guys shifting and stuff yet? We haven't talked about that at all. You guys shifting lefties at all?
Only if we have a really good book on somebody. But we've done it on a few kids. There's a kid at Louisville right now. What is his name? He's really, really good. But we did a little shift on him, and it worked out. But one at bat, I don't remember which game. Remember Will Smith? They put a huge shift on him, and he got a fastball down the middle, and he just hit the ball to second base. And as soon as he hit it, he started pointing at the dugout like it was a home run, like they had all talked about it. If they do that again, just flip it to second base. So I wish big league hitters, that's the problem with the conversation right now, is they do these big shifts and guys don't adjust in big spots. But if they do the big shift in a big spot, make something happen, you know? And I was so proud to see Will Smith do that. The Rays have put down a couple of bunts in weird spots. And I think you got to pick your spots because you don't want to pay a guy $7 million to bunt, you know. But in certain situations, and that was a huge one for the Dodgers, I think you got to be able to handle the bat enough to still do it at the professional level.
Well, the other hard thing is those pitchers are throwing in too. You know,
they're pitching to the shift. Yeah, no doubt.
So it's hard, you know, to wait on that pitch. It's outside. It might not ever come.
Yeah.
So it's just got to be, I guess, a reaction thing. You know, the guy misses and, you know, you recognize and hit it, but that's tough.
Yeah, it is.
So, yeah, Howard, I totally 100% agree with you on the launch angle thing. I never, ever, ever, ever bring that up with the high school players. I just don't. We try to hit line drives as well. That's what you're there for, is to just crush the ball. Doesn't make any sense to me, and I know for a fact people teach that. They do teach the dip lift thing. I don't get it. There are people out there who do that. It's unbelievable to me that they teach, especially high school kids, to do that. It's kind of crazy. But also, to answer your question about the shift, David, from my perspective, and I agree with Howard, like the problem with shifting in high school is if we have good weather, we are playing a game. So we cannot go scout during the season, because if we're playing, we're playing. If we're not, nobody pretty much is. So there's no opportunity for us to go watch another game ever, because with the weather up here, like if we got an opportunity to play, we're playing. So scouting doesn't come into effect. We do scout a little bit sometimes for our playoff opponents. We'll send assistant coaches sometimes, try to get a feel for it. But these guys in the major leagues can go scout anytime. They got all the stats in front of them. It's a completely different game as far as shifts go with them. In high school, it's just different. You just can't do it that much. So that makes
But you can't trust that 16-year-old kid that's on the bump to pitch where he needs to pitch to the shift. Also,
Very true.
He's got a girlfriend. He's 16. He just got a new car, and he ain't going to throw the pitch where you need it to be to make the shift work. So you just can't rely on it as much. I don't think they don't throw hard enough, and they can't locate well enough.
Yeah, very good points.
All right, DJ, game 2. Tell us about game 2.
All right, so before I get in game 2, don't forget to go get your tacos from Taco Bell. Thanks to Mookie and the stolen base on game 1. I will be
South Nashville.
Talk about
Mookie.
that for a second, Howard. Talk about Mookie in high school for us for a second.
He went to John Overton High School. It was our rival in high school. When I played, of course, I'm not his age, but when I played, that was our biggest rival. We played him in the game, then we fought him after the game. He was I did coach against him. He was the shortstop, and he was the number 1 pitcher on his team.
Wow.
He was an unbelievable competitor. He was an all-state bowler. He was a all-region basketballer. He was a freak, but he was kind of a midget at the same time. Well-spoken kid. Was always the kid that shook hands with everybody, said thanks to coaches and stuff like that. I mean, this dude's just unbelievable, and he has turned into just a freak. And I don't think he's done enough yet. I think he might have a big moment coming soon. I hope he does. But yeah, he's 10 miles away from me, man, growing up, and that's been really cool to watch. Good family, and just awesome to see. Everybody around here is just lit up about him because, of course he signed the big contract, but he's also performed until the World Series. He hadn't done as much as I think he could have. He hadn't had to, but I think I would love to see him have. He can take over a game for sure. Defensively, I saw this the other day, and I'll shut up about Mookie, but I saw this the other day. He before whatever game it was where he made the running in catch and the unbelievable throw, and he also made a corner right field throw that was just stupid. Before that game, he showed up 3 hours early, and he made 15 game speed throws to every base from right field.
Wow.
That's 45 throws before the game.
Wow.
And the video is unbelievable. I mean, he is just letting it eat, and they're all just right there. I think the kid's different, He didn't grow. He wasn't on no travel teams and all this. He played at a hood school in Metro Nashville. They got his name up on the fence, and he's giving a lot of money to him, and it's cool. But yeah, he's been fun to watch.
That's awesome, man. So yeah, I mean, I will be taking all 4 of my kids and my wife to Taco Bell to get 6 free tacos so I can eat them all if there's a game 7. So definitely go get those for sure.
No, hold on. Would you going with the Doritos Los Tacos, or you going
yes,
full ranch or the cheese?
I like the cheese ones a little bit better, man. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, they go better with the taco. There's no doubt about that.
They slap. Ain't no doubt. They slap.
Big fan of them, man. I'm gonna get 6 of them. I'll eat them all. So game 2, guys. Like I talked about a little bit here. To me, this was kind of the dud of the series. I know it was just maybe a little bit because the Rays won, but it wasn't all that. It was kind of just a dud in general. 6-4 Rays win. Tampa ran up 5-0, and the Dodgers just pecked away a little bit at a time. Seager was 2 for 4 with a homer and a ribby, and Chris Taylor also had a homer and 2 RBI. Brandon Lowe finally showed up for the Rays with 2 homers and 3 RBI in that game. That kind of was the difference.
Brandon Lau,
yes. Did I say Lowe?
Yes.
Sorry, I completely messed that one up.
The only reason I say
Lowe, Lowe.
he lives in Franklin, Tennessee, and he trains in the off season with our head coach's son at one of the big facilities out in Franklin, and he works with him a lot. He's been texting him and sending me screenshots and stuff. Dude's a freak. I wish he wasn't getting hot right now, to be honest, but yeah, he's kind of a hometown guy too.
That's cool.
Very cool, man. Wow, I did not know That was from there for sure. That definitely is news to me for sure. Joey Wendell had 3 RBI as well. He dominated too that game. Just those two really kind of showed up and hadn't been showing up for most of the part. Snell went 4 2/3 with 9 Ks, 2 earned runs. Me and David had talked about this, Howard, man. Tell us your thoughts on Blake Snell.
He's hard to hit, man. He's hard to look at, and he's hard to hit. He's an ugly human being.
Yeah,
But he can pitch, dude. He's good. That's what I'm worried about tomorrow. He's going tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's good, man. I don't think he's quite 2018 like he was, and I like the fact that we just saw him, last week. So
I think that game could go either way for Snell, man. I think there's some things working up here that can go either way. Either he's going to be locked in, or you're going to be able to see it in his eyes. He's going to lose it. So.
And I heard his interview, and he was like, "I don't know, these guys just saw me last week," and I was like, "Uh-oh."
Yes, I saw that too. You're so right.
And they're just licking their chops in that other clubhouse. Like, this dude is not ready for this moment.
He was a deer, I did watch a little bit of that game, and he just had some moments, man. Just looked like deer in the headlights. Like if they had just pushed ahead a little bit further, it was all going to fall down.
So then after Snell gets done, he goes to a stable full of guys who throw 98 and grabs 4 more of them to finish it off. David, I got to get to something here before we continue. So who are you rooting for in this series?
Yeah, speak up.
I'm kind of rooting for the Rays for a very non-Yankee reason. I think it's cool that they have like one of the lowest payrolls. I think it's interesting. The Dodgers have the second highest, and the Rays have the second lowest. And so I'm kind of pulling for them. I hate them, just to be honest with you. And I actually like a lot of the Dodgers guys, but I don't know. I just think it's kind of cool that they're there.
David, this is kind of like you saying you're pulling for the Red Sox to, win it all.
The same thing.
How is that not the same thing? The Rays and the Yankees fight every time that they play each other.
I hate the Red Sox. The Rays are like, it's starting to become a rivalry a little bit, but it's one of those deals where over the years they've always kind of been your whipping boy. You know what I mean? And so
you can't be a Yankees fan and then they get eliminated, and now you're all about payroll.
I mean, just in this series, I'm just pulling for the Rays. I don't even really know why. I don't really care about the Dodgers either. So
I don't get it. I tell you what, I don't care if the Cardinals and the White Sox have a $2 payroll. I would never root for either of them ever. So this is very disturbing to me.
What if they were playing each other? I mean, that's kind of not that they're rivals, but I'm ambivalent. I don't really care either way.
If the Cardinals and the White Sox played each other in the World Series, I'd crawl in the corner and suck my thumb and not watch it.
The White Sox are probably going to be there next year, DJ. I just have a feeling.
No.
White Sox are good.
Stop it. This is the guy that gave Rick Renteria the manager of the year, Howard. Rick Renteria, who just got fired.
Listen, he had the biggest swing of outside of the Marlins. Worst to first, man. I mean, it's got to mean something, right?
Enough of that.
No.
All right, so going into Game 6, I hate that Gonsolin is going to pitch. He pitched in Game 2 as well. 6 relievers after Gonsolin pitched, just terrible. He was not good. I don't know why they keep going to him. Dustin May also allowed 3 runs. He had a rough outing as well in that game. Rosarina tied Derek Jeter for the most hits in the postseason by a rookie, later passed him.
That dude is a freak, isn't he?
I've got a question for you guys. This was going to come up in my Game 3 review. Rosarina has 9 homers, all on fastballs. Why do you ever throw that dude a fastball? I don't get it.
I don't think they know how to pitch him, because I don't think he studies pitchers. If you listen to his post-game interviews, he doesn't really do all that stuff where you go and study. He's got a plan and an approach for whoever's pitching, and I don't think you can get a book on him. I really don't.
If I was pitching him, he would never see anything straight ever.
You
It
saw
would just
the
be steady dot.
Kershaw hit him with that nasty 68-mile-an-hour yacker, and he stroked it in the left last night. I mean, he's
a great hitter, but I think if you're going to keep him out of the seats, you can't throw him a fastball. And by the way, all 9 of those fastballs, 95 plus.
Yeah. Yeah, he can run into one, and no doubt he can run into it. But he can also run the piss out of the bases too. I mean, if you can't walk him, that's the other problem. Yeah.
Back when I threw 95, I would never throw him a fastball. You remember those days, Howard? Come on. There's no fact checkers, man. Help me out.
Sorry, did you say 75?
So, guys, Rosarina actually got traded from the Cardinals, which, thank God, I do not have to watch him play the Cubs 25 times a year because I don't want anything to do with that guy. I'm excited he's out of there and with the Rays now because he looks to be the real deal, man, and very scary in the future.
He's made a lot of money this postseason.
Yes, sir.
A lot of money.
A ton of money. So go ahead, Swor, with Game 3, buddy.
All right, Game 3, 6-2 Dodgers win. My old boy Charlie Morton, one of my favorite pitchers, was going against Walker Buehler, the new Justin Verlander. He looks like him except for his yoga pants. Unreal, man. Just an unreal pitcher. Justin Turner started off the game with a homer in the first inning. That's his 11th postseason homer, which tied Duke Snyder for the most in Dodgers history. Third inning, Muncy, which it seems like I keep saying his name as well. He's had some big hits, man. Muncy has a 2-out single, scores Seager and Turner. It's 3-0 Dodgers at that point. And then my favorite play of the game, it's 6th inning. Austin Barnes comes up and lays down the old safety squeeze, boy. I love it. I love it. That reminded me, see, Howard, you had graduated. DJ, do you remember one of Hoobie's first games? He laid down the old squeeze. I can't remember who we were playing, but he won a game on a squeeze play. Do you remember that?
I actually do. Yep. I actually do because that was very rare for us to pull that off.
Yeah.
It was very rare to win a baseball game.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that put him up 4-0. Betts singles scores Jock Peterson, which is another guy. Seemed like saying his name a lot. He's had a good series. That puts him up 5-0. Adames comes up in the 5th, has a 2-out double, which scores Margot. My boy Austin Barnes comes up in the 6th. He hits a solo home run, 6-1. And somebody threw a Rosarina a fastball in the 9th like an idiot, and he hits it to the trees. And 6-2. That's how it ended. Dodgers up 2-1. Buehler was a stud. I forgot to write down how many innings he went, but I'm thinking he struck out 8 or 9.
6 innings, 10 Ks.
10 Ks.
So, and you got to feel good if you're a Dodgers fan. That's going to be your Game 7 if there is one. So, anyway, he's unbelievable. I watched a bunch of clips on him today. Like you were talking about off air, Howard, just unreal. It's unfair. The spin rate on all his pitches, it's just unfair. Nobody's going to hit it. I mean, he had so many pitches, and to be honest with you, can't think of it. Glasnow is the same way. He spikes curveballs 6 feet short, and people are swinging at him. And Buehler's a lot the same way, man. He's just unfair.
Tell you something I've noticed that has freaked me out, and I've been trying to figure it out. I hadn't yet. But if you watch, they show all those super slow-mos, and a lot of these power guys that are high spin rate guys that have nasty sliders and breaking balls, when they slow them down, it's not this. It's more of this that you see coming out of their hand. And they're just pulling down with that middle finger to create the spin. But, back in the day, it was swing a hammer, get on top of it and get over it. But now they're not doing that. It's coming out this way. And I've never taught that. I'm trying to figure. I was
taught that way, to be honest with you.
Really?
I was taught to chop it.
Yeah.
Try to chop it. Not so much this, but that. But anyway.
But it's freaked me out to see the ball leaving their hand that way. But then you don't get the dot. You can't see it as well, and it's coming out at the same plane as your fastball. So when it leaves the hand, you got to make a decision in 0.3, and it looks like this, and then it does that. It's been I don't know how they hit it, to be honest.
either.
I don't.
Could you guys pick up spin pretty well?
I could pick up flesh. So if I saw all white, I thought fastball changeup. But if I saw any flesh, I thought off speed. I could pick that up later in my career. But now I'm not sure I could because I don't see it as much. The way
Never could pick it up. Yeah, I was always
I could see flesh out there.
What about you, DJ?
Man, I just swung. I didn't, whatever is coming, I just swung at it. I didn't like break it down that much. Like I could tell too by, certain guys would give it away more than others, but some guys I just couldn't tell. So I just kind of watched the ball as it came in and reacted basically. So there.
Did you like set a trap for fastball?
Did I what? I'm sorry.
Did you like set a trap for fastball every time and then adjust?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was definitely a fastball hitter. So like I was sitting on that. And then when I got 2 strikes on me, everything changed obviously, but until it got to that point, like, I was always sitting fastball. And I was telling some of the guys, Howard, some of the guys that we had on that were pitchers against us, like when we had inter squads and all that stuff was so much fun. But, all the guys on the team knew how to get me out. It was either you threw me a really good high fastball with 2 strikes or you buried a nice changeup with 2 strikes. And they could get me out. And just the opponents couldn't do that against me because they didn't have the scouting report. So I just sat fastball the whole time and adjusted on everything else. And I was a really good fastball hitter and a really terrible off-speed hitter. So
I still don't know how to. I don't know how to hit a changeup. I don't know how you teach it. I don't understand how you teach it. If they're doing it right, it's nearly impossible unless you're sitting change and you're sitting off speed. Because a good changeup, man, lefty changeups, God, they off so bad.
Yeah. I wasn't even going to say anything about it, but looking back, I didn't have a real good fastball, obviously. I can't ever remember anyone hitting a home run off anything off speed. So it brings up the question, why didn't I just throw that way every pitch? You know what I mean? I think at our level of baseball, you didn't have a lot of guys that could square up off-speed stuff. And like I said, looking back, I wish I'd have worked more on spotting that stuff and maybe just coming up with more off-speed stuff. And I think it would have been a lot better off, honestly. I wish I'd have almost never thrown a fastball.
But then you would have had like 4 arm surgeries by now.
Well, but that's the way a lot of these relievers are. They teach these guys just to throw their best pitch. Now with all these advanced metrics, they figure out what pitch is your best pitch. Matter of fact, I was gonna bring this up in this next game that we're gonna talk about, Game 5. But Victor Gonzalez. Do you know why he came in when he came in Game 5? Because Dave Roberts knew that righties are hitting .64 against his slider. Guess what every righty saw? Nothing but sliders. And so, they were Steve Phillips was banging on him on Dave Roberts pretty hard for making that change because he took Dustin May out, who was cruising. But he knew that those righties were going to get steady diets of sliders. So anyway.
And I think you can do that as a specialist and as a reliever, but as a starter, not many go 6 innings anymore, but they just can't do it long term, throwing that one pitch. But the elite lefty specialist, it's usually not the heat, it's the 2 or the 3 or the 4 that gets them out.
Yeah, you should have called more off-speed pitches, Howard. I'd be in the hall.
You had basically like 1.5 pitch, so it was not multiple choice. It was limited at best. No, you were a hell of a pitcher, man.
You ruined me, man.
You're one of the few guys that you didn't have arm side run like they preach now. You had that. It was weird, like cutter run when you threw what I thought was a 4-seamer or whatever. It was like
throwing sinkers the whole time and didn't even know it.
Yeah, it was a good pitch. They swung through it a lot.
Yeah. All right, DJ, Game 4.
So Game 4, wow, that's all I got to say. I mean, holy cow. This is an instant classic. Despite, the terrible ending, this is one of the greatest World Series games of all time by far. When you think back to this series, unfortunately, you're going to think a lot about this game and then the last game of the series when somebody actually wins it are going to be the two games you think of when this series is over. Awesome. I mean, as far as the game goes, it was awesome. Back and forth the whole time. Intense every pitch. This is exactly what the World Series should be. You got it here in this game. And I still, to this day, can't believe what happened. It was just unreal to see it. So Seager was unreal. He was 4 for 5. Seager just killing it. He's been unbelievable. 2 ribbies. Turner was also 4 for 5 with a ribby. Jock was 2 for 2 with an RBI. For the Rays, Rosarina was 3 for 4 with an RBI, and Kiermaier, who's had a great series as well, was 2 for 4 with an RBI. Kiermaier went to JUCO college about 2 hours south of here in Champaign, so he's he went to college here so he's not from here, but pretty cool that you see him have some success. Back and forth they go in the game. It's intense, passion, intensity, the whole game, every pitch. So the Dodgers are up 7-6 going into the ninth. And I wanted Roberts. Brian, I don't know what you were thinking, but I was kind of hoping Gratterall would stay in the game. I know Jansen's typically like your closer, with quotes around it, but Gratterall to me was, he was struggling a little bit in the 8th, but I still thought they should have kept with him. Went to Jansen. Sutsogo, K's to lead off the inning. They got one out just like that with a 1-run lead. Kiermaier then singles to center. Joey Wendell lines out to left, and there's 2 outs with 1 guy on. You're thinking, this is great. Everything's going our way. Rosarina then battles through a great at-bat and walks, gets himself on base, and it's 1st and 2nd. Up comes Brett Phillips, guys. Brett Phillips is on the roster to literally play defense and pinch run. He didn't even make the ALCS roster. He's up there batting in the most important game of the Rays season with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And all I remember Brett Phillips from is that video when he was with the Brewers of him laughing with that crazy laugh he's got. That's all I remember from this guy. I know nothing about the way he plays the game, but just that video is all I know about him. So comes up, and he hasn't batted in probably 6 weeks. He honestly looks like a guy from Revenge of the Nerds, the movie, to be honest with you. He laughs like one. He looks like one. Singles the center fielder. And so Taylor, guys, as a center fielder, we got problems with the center fielder. We got problems with the pitcher, David. And we got problems with the catcher, Howard, on this play. It all breaks down. I've seen it from about 14 different angles 100 times because I still can't believe it. So Taylor bobbles the ball. I saw a camera shot where the first time he hit it, Rosarina was just about halfway to third. And then when Taylor picks the ball back up and gets control of it, he just had stepped on third. So he's going to be out by a mile. Third base coach is just like, whatever. We tied it already. Let's try to win it. He's going to be toast. So Muncy cuts it off, throws it to Smith. Smith drops it. Jansen's nowhere to be found. Rosarina falls on his face and basically crawls home to win the game. Howard, give me Will Smith's perspective on this. As a catcher, please tell me something he should have done a little different. Should he have looked over at some point and checked on a Rosarina? Was she supposed to be watching the ball the whole time? Give me the perspective on this because I'm a little baffled by Will Smith.
Yeah, I watched it with all of our catchers in our lunch period.
Good call.
Shortly after that, and so many things happened on that play. What's his name? Phillips?
Yep, Brett Phillips.
He looks like the guy that drives your car at the car wash after it comes through. But good swing. Happy for him. I love to see the celebration. Second of all, Chris Taylor should not have been in center field. Cody Bellinger should not be separating his shoulder on a celebration. Then Muncy, I think, is the one guy that did everything right. He was there, he was on money, and he transferred the ball and got rid of it. Jansen is hanging out between third and home in fair territory for some reason. No idea about that. And Smith, here's what I think he saw and what I've heard in some of his interviews is he got to the front corner of the plate, which is what you're supposed to do. He checked the runner rounding third, and he thinks this is going to be bang, bang after the bobble. You know what I'm saying? So his explanation was, I thought after the throw from Muncie was a little bit arm side to Smith, he thought I got to catch a swipe really quickly, and he just whiffed. But he thought he had to be perfect. And he whiffed, and then the guy's laying on his belly over there. And the pitcher's hanging out over here. And it was humiliating. But there's no reason. To me, I love Chris Taylor, but he should not be in center field in the World Series. And it's just plain as day. He just pulled his head up. He's an infielder. He pulled his head up and he clanked it. Just take the tie and go win it in extra innings, But the effort that dude showed running the bases was just crazy. And the energy after he crawled in and slapped the plate was awesome.
Yep.
But I punched a small hole in my bonus room and said some bad things to my family before going to bed. But that was what a blunder. For a team that's that good and that calculated about everything, to screw that up. That was a soft single. It was on first and second and 2 runs scored. That makes no sense to lose the game. And I hope it doesn't come back to bite them. But I was tickled the way they came back after that. But, yeah, I think Smith was just trying to, catch swipe to the back corner, as fast as he could. And he just botched it.
So, DJ, I got to ask you a question. So, the third base coach, is it possible that Rosarina got the Bob Hall stop and go all at the same time? Do you remember that? Oh, yeah.
Anytime I got that, I just went. I didn't know what to do, so I just went. Whatever. I don't know what that is, but I'm going.
We love you, Coach. I just had to bring that up.
No, man, you know what? I got to hand it to that third base coach because there's no way I would have sent him there. I don't know. He probably, to be honest with you, was just thinking, you know what? We tied it. What do I got to lose kind of thing? After he saw Taylor bobble it, because Taylor, like Brian said, I don't think Taylor should have been out there either. And you guys know how much I love Chris Taylor. But I totally agree with you that Bellinger should have been out there. I don't know what the deal was there. Was it because the shoulder was hurt? Because he DH'd that game, right, Brian?
Yeah, he was just a DH that game because his shoulder blade was stiff from the stupid celebration.
Was Jock in left when that happened?
Mm-hmm.
So isn't Jock a better center fielder than Taylor? So Taylor should have been in left, right?
What about Mookie Betts?
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, yeah.
He's pretty good.
Good point.
Yeah, I didn't understand that at all. That frustrated me. But I mean, that's what they've been doing all year, I guess. But I'm serious. I don't think the third base coach could have stopped him if he wanted to.
Yeah.
See the way that guy was running the bases?
Did you see the way Phillips was running them too? That was pretty impressive too.
He looked like he was chasing a cheetah or something. That's gone. I'm not sure he could have stopped him. And then it was the worst fall ever.
Sniper got it.
How humiliating that would have been if it didn't work out. But that was a terrible fall. Like, not graceful at all.
I still can't believe it. Unbelievable. Crazy. Like you said, Taylor took his eyes off the ball. That was obvious.
But he didn't have to.
Huh?
He didn't have to.
No. He did not have to. You're so right. Like, they were going to tie it. Just keep the runner there. You got 2 outs. Go to extras. You're fine. You can swing off with them. And
he could have came up and soft one-hopped in there, and he'd have been out by 10 steps, or he went back, and then we're playing extras.
Yeah.
Totally botched it. But, yeah, man, if the Dodgers, if they end up losing this series, which I hope they don't, obviously, this game is going to be looked at as the one that cost them the series, to be honest with you. And I hope it doesn't come back to bite them. So, David, game 5, buddy.
All right, Game 5, 4-2 win for the Dodgers. Glasnow versus Kershaw Part 2. Glasnow was still wild. He had 3 wild pitches in the first 3 innings. In the first inning, Seager singles, scores Betts. Bellinger singles and scores Seager, 2-0. Second inning, Peterson, there's his name again, solo homer, 3-0. Yandy Diaz triples in the third to bring home Kiermaier, Arozarena, singles. So it's 3-2 going into the fourth. The Rays had first and third and no outs in the fourth, guys. And pop up, a strikeout, and then my man Manuel Margot decided to steal home. And he just about made it, but not quite. Just about don't count. So what do you guys think about that?
I kind of saw it coming. I think that's happened to Kershaw a few times in his career, but I was so stoked about that play because if you watch it from the up high camera, he's got that long – and Margot was inching and inching and inching. But as soon as he took off, Muncy took off yelling, pointed the plate, and he had the wherewithal to step off.
Yeah, a lot of guys would have balked right there.
It wasn't a great throw to the plate, but it was quick enough. But what about the Rays hitter stepping out of the box and getting out of the way? If he'd have stayed there, he can stay there. That ball might have hit him. Yeah. And it's just been
That's
but
a good point.
All the way out of there. And then Barnes made a great tag. He took it straight down to the front corner and barely got him on the wrist before he got in there. But for Kershaw to make that play in that spot with all the pressure he's got on him, I thought was phenomenal.
Yeah, I did too, man. And you know what? I got handed to the Rays a little bit on that because I've never, to be honest with you, thought about that with Kershaw going so high up there to, from third. And it almost worked, like legit. Yeah. And Kershaw, to his credit, man, he totally kept his composure and stepped off and threw it. I could not believe he made that play, to be honest.
I didn't even realize it happened at first. I was like, I got to see that again. I'm not even sure what just happened.
Yeah.
But I thought he just threw the pitch. You know what I mean? And then Cash, after the game, they talked to him, and he said it was all on, Margot did it on his own. But if they could have planned better for that spot, if that runner on first breaks first and then Margot goes, that's a run. 100% of the time when Kershaw's pitching. If he's right here and that guy on first breaks, he's going to either pick or step off and look. And if that guy's gone, like a reaction play, and he said, we got that play in, but we didn't have it on right there. He was on.
Wow. I've definitely never seen anyone come set like that. The old Statue of Liberty or whatever. I've never seen anybody do that, but about cost him. I mean, it was a bang play. I mean, he just got that tag in just in time. So, gutsy move by Margot. I didn't hate it, to be honest with you.
What do you think? What do you think if the umpire initially called safe? Do you think they stick with it?
I watched that replay 2 or 3 times, and I think he was out.
Yeah.
I would have been. I think I would have been able to overturn it.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I saw it get that little. He got the little oven mitt that you get your pizza out with on his hand, and I think he got that. So, I think he was definitely out too.
You see his helmet bounce off his face when he slid. That was
insult to injury. Yeah. All right, 5th inning. Muncy homers. There's his name again. That's his 3rd of the postseason. 4-2. Again, Roberts comes and gets Kershaw at 85 pitches. In comes Dustin May, who blows away the next batter, which is Margot on a 101-mile-per-hour fastball. May goes 4 up, 4 down, gives up a single, and in comes Victor Gonzalez. And like I said, guys, .64 against the slider. Good afternoon, good morning, good night. Gets him out. Trinan comes in the 9th. No more Kenley Jensen. Had enough of that, I guess. Leadoff man gets on, then he strikes out Meadows. Wendell's flyouts and Adames K's. 4-2 Dodgers.
So I got a few things to add here on this one real quick. So I don't know if you guys saw this. You probably did. You saw Tyler Glasnow crossed up Zunino on a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. He thought some off speed was coming. So Howard, I'm wondering, what would you have done if one of your pitchers in college did that to you?
I can answer that. Let me answer that.
I knew this was coming.
Listen, first start playing West Georgia. I didn't know until we got there that I was pitching. I'm not joking. Pitching game 1. It's first inning. I'm rattled. And I totally – Howard calls for the curveball. I throw him a fastball, which about hits him in the face. He real calmly just walks out there and cusses me worse than I've ever been cussed in my life. That's what Howard would have done. Poor Mike Zanino, man.
100% agree. That's definitely that's what happened every time. That I don't understand. I don't understand. Like,
my mind was going 100 miles an hour. And if you remember, you don't remember this. I remember it because it was traumatic. It was really traumatic. There was a runner on second. And I had gotten the order mixed up. I can't remember if we were going with first sign or second sign or what, but yeah, totally crossed him up and got cussed in front of God and everybody in my first start. But I'll have to hand it to you, Howard. That same game, they had this big donkey left-handed dude that hit bombs.
Yeah, I remember him, yeah.
And I put one right in his kneecap for him. I'm sure it felt great. And old dude kind of took a walk a little bit, stared me down. Howard had my back, so that made up for it.
That's a given, dude. I like to fight more than I like to play. So
you walked him up the line for me. It was pretty nice.
Yeah.
I was scared to death.
I've done that to a lot of kids. David, I apologize. I apologize, but I've done that to a lot. I have this, like, there's like a 60-second window where I have to get it out. But the worst one I ever had, I don't know if y'all still talk to him, kid named Ryan Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I ate him up one day. He was a freshman. It was bad. Like, he crossed me like 3 times in one inning, and I absolutely.
Oh, Lord.
But we ended up being super cool, and he was a good player, good pitcher. But yeah, that's what I used to do. But there's no way to defend yourself, dude. There's no way you can be ready for one and get the other and still make a play.
Well, from that day forward, I definitely thought about it. I'd come set and be like, did he say curveball? And if there was any question, it was the old step off. Hey, what you guys think about Zach Greinke doing did y'all see that clip?
Yes.
That was awesome.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
He threw a 54-mile-an-hour ephus in there that next play. So, anyway, pretty awesome.
So, Rosarina, guys, 27 hits in a single postseason, which is a new record. Unbelievable, man. He has more hits this postseason than he had in the regular season. Think about that for a second. That's crazy. I love that Kershaw dominated like Howard talked about earlier. I just am completely excited. I don't think he's going to come in there. He shouldn't come in there for Game 7, but it's possible. We'll see what happens. 2 out hitting and 2 strike hitting for the Dodgers has been unbelievable in this series. In 16 postseason games and counting, they have scored 57 runs with 2 outs. They have also scored 40 runs with 2 strikes. That is clutch, and clutch is everything in life, man. So both are all-time records. What a stat. I mean, when you're done and you can come out of it with success, when you're pretty much buried, that's what championship teams do, man. This team's on a roll, and they're doing it better than anybody else ever has. So really cool. And then one more thing I wanted to mention real quick. Jock Peterson, man. Thank God he did not get traded. He's got 5 bombs, 9 ribbies, and 9 runs in this series so far, and a 1.026 OPS. He, no doubt, needs to be lifting this trophy with the Dodgers. Thank God that trade fell apart, and Jock is going to be a part of this thing.
And he's probably not starting tomorrow.
You're so right.
Yeah, he's going to be sitting. He's going to get 1 at-bat towards the end of the game, maybe 2 if they get in the pen early. That's been crazy to watch. But the confidence that he has to step in there and still get it done, and Muncy, his OPS is even higher. It's like 1.183 or something. He's been a freak, and he's walked like 20 times. He set a new record for walks in the postseason. Here's one thing that struck me. Reason I think the Dodgers are winning. Arozarena, how you say his name? Is that right?
Yep.
He got the hit to break the record, and they were losing, and he got to first and immediately started doing this.
Give me the ball.
And I hate that as a competitor. You know what I'm saying? Like he's worried about his ball and not – and I'm sure they would have got the ball for him, you know. I love the dude as a player, but I thought he's content. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's content with being competitive in the World Series and getting his individual record. And I think the Dodgers are going to win. I didn't like that at all. If I was his team, I'd be like, hold up, bro. You know, that's whack, dude.
Yeah.
They'll get 47 managers in the dugout. There's no fans here. We'll get you the ball. They throw it out every freaking pitch. You know what I'm saying?
Terrible.
Don't do that. I didn't like it. What'd y'all think about it?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, you're in the World Series. You shouldn't even know that that's even going on, honestly. I mean, it's just not that big.
Exactly.
I mean, it is a big deal, but it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm with you.
They're going to get him the ball regardless, like you said. Like, even if it's not the actual ball, they will somehow get him something and make him think it's the real ball. So, yeah, I agree with you, man. You got bigger things, bigger fish to fry, like winning a World Series and individual stats. So, Howard, you mentioned something about Muncy real quick. He did tie a record as far as walks goes with Gary Sheffield from the 97 team. For second all-time, though, in a postseason. And this is not my trivia question for you guys, but who is number one, and this is kind of obvious, all-time in postseason walks?
Lou Gehrig.
Nope.
Is he modern or old school?
He's modern. This is more recent.
Oh, Barry Bonds.
Barry Bonds, yep.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he had 27 in one postseason, and Muncy just tied Sheffield for the second most all-time. That's unbelievable. When you're second to Barry Bonds, who probably got intentionally walked 20 of those times, that's crazy. So
Does anybody pimp one better than Muncy too when he hits it?
yeah, it's pretty awesome, man.
Man, he just flips and walks and struts. I love that guy. And how does Joey Wendell ever hit a baseball?
Got me.
His swing looks like hot garbage. Yeah, I don't even know what he's doing. And somehow he gets hits all the times. That guy's a freaking train wreck, dude. You can find him at your local church league any Thursday. But he's good.
Yep.
Well, guys, Game 6. Gonsolin versus Snell. What's your thoughts?
Dodgers are losing, I think. I really believe that. I don't like the way Gosling's pitched all year long. I think they're feeling themselves a little too much, and I think the Rays got enough fight. I think they'll win this one. I really do. I don't want them to, but I think they will. It just depends on what they're doing with the pen. Dustin May was electric the other day. The first time he has been in a while. But he's throwing 101-mile-an-hour two-seamers that have nasty arm side action. So if they can get one or two out of him, and then if they go to Urias and they don't put freaking Kenley Jansen in the game, Gratterall is electric. They might score one on him. They might run into one, but they're not going to light him up, I don't think. So it just depends on – it's all about Goslin to me. And Goslin versus Snell, I don't like it. I mean, Snell threw like 4 1/3 no-hit innings or something. So I don't like it. I don't like the matchup.
Do you think that has more to do with saving May for a possible Game 7, which I know you shouldn't probably be thinking that way, but you think they'd rather burn Gonsolin and have May?
I would maybe, but I think you should be able to trust Walker Buehler to go out there and take care of business and then have enough for a 7th, 8th, and 9th. You know, but and I guess they probably do. He got a day off, and he only faced 4 hitters. So I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't know why he's the guy that's the starter.
Yeah. DJ?
I'm baffled by Gonsolin again. I thought they had learned their lesson from in Game 2 with this. I don't know what is happening. And, I called it before the series started, David. This is going 7, and Dodgers are going to win it. And this is – man, I just do not have a good feeling about tomorrow. I hope I'm wrong. But I do think the Rays will win tomorrow, and then I think the Dodgers are going to pull it off in 7. which is crazy that this is going to go 7. But, I mean, if I know the Dodgers are going to win, I want it to go 7 just so I can have that extra game of baseball. And who doesn't want to see Game 7? So, and Brian, I just want to mention this too. I know I keep bringing this up to David, and he's probably sick of hearing this. But so we did our postseason picks. We've done every round so far, and I just want to give the records of this postseason. I'm 11-3 in my picks, and David's 8-6. So yeah. I mean, and he picked the Rays to win this too, so I got a good feeling I'm going 12-3, and he's going to end up at about 508-7. So baseball tonight needs to hire me to become their new projector of who's going to win every series, and I'll make
you would. You have a face made for radio.
They'll just have to get some like higher stools for you to sit down or whatever. You'd be sitting behind the table.
As long as my socks don't touch that dirty ground, I'm all good.
Can I before we get done, can I debrief a little bit about Braves fans here for a second?
Do it.
This goes out to a lot of my good friends. And I went back this afternoon and watched Steven Shelton. And why is his head still growing?
He's been roiding, man.
He's like 58 years old. His head is 98, and the rest of his body is 58. Braves fans, dude, just let me – I got 7,000 texts from Braves fans talking trash. You know how they are. They front run, and then we're going to win it all. And then I got crickets for the last I haven't heard from Jason Morgan. I hadn't heard from Steven Shelton. I hadn't heard from any of these Braves fans who haven't won anything in like 20. They've made the playoffs 16 times in the last 20 years, and they still lose. I hate the Braves. That's not good. Why do people in Tennessee love the Braves so much? That doesn't make sense. You're not that good.
Well, if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
They're all firing Brian Snitker, which I think is hilarious.
It's funny. They're on the right path. But they won this year. It shouldn't have been that close of a series.
No. That's what me and DJ were saying. They shouldn't even been there. You lose your number one starter.
They lost their whole pitching staff.
Right.
That was a huge win this postseason.
Yeah.
And just crickets. Nobody knows me now. Oh, everybody lost my number. Oh, look at here. And I don't ever respond. I just take it. And they just check. Wawas, a bunch of jabberjaws. That's what I call them. Yeah. If y'all see any of them, you put AP in. If you see any Braves fans, tell them to holler at me.
We've had like 8 Braves reviews. Everybody from Tennessee Temple was a Braves fan.
Yep.
So,
why?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
They lose. That's all they know how to do is lose. That's all the Dodgers have done too for the last 8 years. So we'll see. But I'm so glad the Braves lost.
All right, DJ, real quick, World Series trivia. What do you got?
All right, so I want to know, and you both can combine on this, that's fine. I want to know the name of the top 5 franchises for the most World Series titles of all time. The top 5.
Yankees, Giants.
Came in fast there, Swor.
Dodgers.
The Dodgers are incorrect. Yankees and Giants are correct.
Cardinals.
Cardinals, yeah.
Cardinals are number 2.
Pirates. No.
Tigers. No.
Red Sox.
Number 3.
Really?
They don't have that many, so that tells me number 4 and 5.
Red Sox have 9.
Do they have 9?
And this team has tied them. That you're missing. The Yankees have 27. The Cardinals have 11. The Red Sox have 9. The Giants have 8. The team you're missing also has 9.
Let me think here. I can get this.
It's a tough one. This is the one I thought you guys would miss out of all this, so it makes sense.
If it's the Braves, I'll flip my TV.
It's not the Braves. There's no way.
Oh, it's the Reds.
No, Reds have 5, I believe. Yeah.
I'm going to go way out on a limb. Say it might be like the Royals. Somebody that had like a different name or something somewhere along the line. No?
That's true. They did, but it's not the Royals. Maybe not a different name, but maybe they switched cities a couple times or.
A couple times?
Well, twice. Yeah, they were at one spot. Now they're in the spot that they have been in for.
Dodgers?
Not the Dodgers. Nope. Think West Coast though. I'll give you that hint.
Angels. Mariners.
Mariners,
Left.
they got the big goose egg.
They got none. They're the only one with 0. Yeah.
Oh, it's the Oakland A's.
You got it, buddy. That's them.
Yeah.
That was a tough one, the A's, because they did a couple in Philly when they were in Philadelphia Athletics or whatever they were, and then they switched over to Oakland. They dominated the early 70s, won in the 80s. So, yep, that's it, man. What do you got, David?
Well, to kind of follow up on your question, the Yankees have 40 World Series appearances. Who has the second most?
Why do we keep talking about the Yankees, dude?
I want to convert you back.
Underachievers of the century, the Yankees. Yes. Jeez. Wait, what was the question?
Second most World Series appearances behind the Yankees, who have 40.
40, that's a lot. Cardinals.
Oh, wow. How about the Giants?
Giants is a good
Yeah.
guess.
Yep. They have 20.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
A bunch of those were recent. I think it's easy to forget how good the Giants have been the last 10 or 15 years. I think they won 3.
Yeah.
Is that correct? In the last, 10 or 15 years? So
2010, 2012, 2014.
easy
You
to
remember
forget.
that ball? You remember that ball Muncy hit off of Bumgarner?
Yeah. Into the
Go
bank.
get it out of the ocean. What
That's
about Joe
awesome.
Kelly? We hadn't seen him much either.
No, true.
He pitched the end of one of these games.
Game
right?
1. Yep.
But we hadn't
did.
seen him much at all.
All right, Howard, give us the condensed version of your baseball career. How'd you start us off in high school? How you ended up at Temple? Go from there.
Freshman year, I was about 4'9" and 90 pounds, believe it or not, and I got cut from my freshman high school baseball team, and cried my eyes out for a couple days. Coach told me to come see him, and he told me just to get after it, and maybe he had a spot for me the next year, and I got after it and started to grow finally. Made the team my sophomore year. Played JV, caught bullpens. Terrible job. But my junior year, I was starting to grow. I was starting to get stronger. I was in the weight room a lot. We had a senior catcher. He was really good. I wasn't going to start over him. I wasn't going to get to play much. And he got popped smoking weed in the parking lot.
Did you have anything to do with that? Were you like, I'm going to get
No,
this?
I swear I didn't. But I was probably out there at the same time doing the same thing. I went in the locker room that day, and all the seniors, who I was cool with, but they weren't like my bros, and they were all depressed and like sitting around pouting, and I was like, what's going on? And they said he got kicked, and I was like, let's go. I went into like the program. You remember that? Place at the table, And so I got to play, and I started to have a lot of success, and I really found my groove in receiving the baseball and throwing the baseball and hitting fastballs. And my senior year, I just took off. Me and my buddies that year, we started 6 seniors and 3 freshmen. But we took those freshmen under our wings. They did everything we did. They went to eat with us. We took them to the gas station to get some jungle juice before practice. And we just gelled, and we went 28-10. We went postseason for the first time since 1979 at Antioch. Won a district, won a region. Got eliminated after that, and I was unsigned, completely unsigned, not really any interest, and was ready to go work construction. And I picked up with a team and played, if you want to call it, it was a ghetto travel ball. It was called Laverne Cobras. And we went like 49-0. And it was a bunch of roughneck dudes just like me, you know. We'd win the game and win the fight if you wanted to. In my last series, I had just a huge series. I hit a bunch of balls out of the ballpark and got a call like July of the summer before it was time to go to college, and got a good offer to go to Martin Methodist College down in Pulaski, Tennessee, and went there and had a really hard time. Didn't go to class. My GPA was like 0.08 or something because I was free for the first time. And at that point in my life, my goal was go to college, you know, and I thought that was all there was in life. And I had a rough year there. I was a bullpen catcher, got to travel. We got in like 3 big brawls that year, and I kind of earned a lot of my teammates' respect through that. My coach actually started putting me in there to start the fight. And that's where I started to feel that family, that jail, you know what I'm saying? Like, the pitcher started to trust me, and I kind of changed my whole approach to playing the game. And playing at Tusculum College that spring, I got in for a little while, had a wild pitch, ran the backstop, slid in. You know how you try to slide, spin, and turn as a catcher when that runner's coming home, and my knee went snap, crackle, pop. And went to the hospital, blown knee. Coach came to see me, and he was all, you're going to be our catcher of the future, blah, blah, blah. 2 days later, got a call from the business office, and they had removed my scholarship. So I started trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life, and I was on the verge of quitting. And there was a guy that was at Temple. I don't know if y'all remember the family or not, the Oatsball family. Scott
Oatsball, yeah.
Yeah. So we know them from Antioch, believe it or not. And he said, man, just come down here and work out. And I worked out for Coach T and Skinny Hall with them shark teeth antlers sticking out there. And they gave me enough money where I could figure it out, you know, but they didn't tell me about the rules and the culture at Tennessee Temple. So my first day at Tennessee Temple, I met my roommate, and he was this preppy kid from Marietta, Georgia, that had on like Sperry's, named Jason Morgan. And I hated him as soon as I saw him. It was time to go to the business office, and I had on some, I don't even know if y'all know this stuff, but like cargo khaki shorts that were pleated in the front, like gangsters used to wear, you know, and some slides and a wife beater and a gold chain. And
Nice.
I went up to the student center to get my schedule and stuff, and it was like I was a mafia lord walking in there. Everybody was like holding their mouths and pointing. But it for some reason it just worked. I don't know how. I don't know why. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Met some great guys there. You know, I remember Casey Caldwell, Steven Lump, JP. Those guys, my first year, Toby McGuire, idiot in left field, just Donnie, you know, just great guys. And we just played ball. And that first year was a good year for me. And we were all kind of committed to it, you know. And then, of course, me and Morgan became good buddies. And then DJ came along and Mishaw came along. And, man, if it wasn't for Temple, I promise I wouldn't be married. I wouldn't be a free man. You know, it's just, as bad as I hated it, in hindsight, it's exactly what I needed in order to play 4 years of college baseball. And we didn't win a whole lot. We played really hard. We had terrible, I shouldn't say that. We had, our practice facilities were not the greatest. But man, we had some times over there in that old hitting facility in that asbestos filled building, you know. We had some good players too, and competitors. But yeah, I wouldn't trade anything for it. And I knew once I finished there, I made my last out at Ingle Stadium, breaking pitch outside that I should have taken. I knew to take, and I stuck my butt out and I reached out and hit the outside of the ball, two hopper to third base, and I got thrown out by 4 steps, and I cried my eyes out. But I knew I wasn't done with the game. You know what I mean? And it just kept going from there, and it's in my blood now. You know, as weird as that place was, and as crazy as that experience was, and the memories that we made, the pizza men that we hit with toilet paper wads, the mattress field wrestling matches.
Oh man, yes.
Do you remember that?
We had
Go ahead, DJ.
we had Stiltner on, and we talked about this for a long time. And I told Stiltner about the mattress room. I said, "There's one thing in life about that mattress room that I will never forget. I would never, when I got in there, I would never take on Brian Howard, and I would never take on Jason Stiltner. Everybody else, bring it on." And I took out Morgan. I took him out a ton, and I loved every second of that. But it was a lot of fun, man. And I saw Howard in there mixing it up. Oh my gosh!
We had one night where we did a basketball, baseball, like 7-round match where we met up in weight classes. That was like the coolest night ever.
Yeah.
We whipped them too. You know, everybody whipped everybody.
I'm looking for this picture that Stiltner sent us, and I can't find it. He told us about an RA that whooped him. Do you remember his name, DJ?
No, I don't remember his name. It's some no-name guy, and we just made
Looks
so
like
much
Kid
fun of him for
Napoleon
that.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Was it Dan?
I didn't know him at all. But anyway, Stiltner, we had a good conversation that one day through text about that. It was pretty hilarious, but I don't remember his name.
My Stiltner story that I always go to is we were playing at Martin Methodist. So it's all the guys that I knew. And he's pitching back when his arm was healthy, and he could bring it back.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm hitting 4-hole, and I'm playing against my old school, my old coach. You know, this is a big day for me. I went 0 for 4 with 4 Ks in game 1.
Ooh.
And Stiltner pitched. But what I remember about it is Stiltner had the runs. And he was working faster than any pitcher I've ever seen in my life. He would literally throw strike 3 for the 3rd out and be running off the field. They're like, "Did you even wash?" He was like, "No, I'll take care of it later." But it's the best game he's ever pitched. He just shoved it. It was fastball, 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 fastball. And he had to go through.
Hey, Travis Curtis was that guy's name.
Yeah.
You remember him?
Yeah, I do remember him.
Jason said he whooped him. Right there's his picture.
Yep, that's him.
Jason said he whooped him worse than he'd ever been whooped before. So anyway, we had some a funny conversation going on there, some memes and stuff. But hey, tell us some funny Temple stories.
Let's see. One of my other fond memories was one of our big walk-off wins at Ingle. I had gotten a hit, and Brad Guffey had come in to run for me.
Yep.
And it was a tie game. He was on second. I don't remember if I doubled or if he stole second. But Casey Caldwell hit a nice soft liner to right like he always did. And Guffey slid in head first safe, and we had that walk-off celebration. But Guffey wasn't acting right, you know? And it's because we all had to hide our dip. He had it tucked in his front belt right there. And he had this massive bruise after the game from scoring the game-winning run as he dove into the plate. Hilarious. But I love that dude.
Hey, do you guys remember Jeff Nevin?
Yeah.
I feel like we might have talked about this, but maybe not. But I remember one day, you know, he was on the team one year, and he would clean the vans. You know, he was a neat freak. And one year he found, I think it was Guffey's spitter. And, man, he was so disgusted. He was like, "Guys, I've got to know who was doing this." You know, anyway, that just reminded me of that, him finding that spitter.
We had one night where I came back. You know, I was a little rough back then around the edges. I was still doing some earthly things, if you know what I mean. And I got back. You know, me and Morgan always lied about where we were going on the weekends to get a pass. So I got back, and when I got back, John, what was John's last name? The
Calhoun.
John Calhoun. Yeah, he was cool as ice. But we got back, and he was in the room waiting on me, and I was like, uh-oh. So I walked in there, and I think that was the year. You might have been in the room, DJ.
Probably was, yep.
He was waiting on me when I got in there, and he gave us this big lecture about chewing tobacco, which to me doesn't matter. But anyways, he was giving us a big lecture. He'd found a bunch of Michelle spitters and my spitters, and because we were stupid not to just throw them away. I don't know. And so we got I gave this big acting speech, and he left and said he wasn't going to, write anything up or whatever. And as soon as the door shut, I lifted my pant legs and I had like 4 cans of dip in my baseball. I was like, let's put one in, boys.
So, Howard, this just came into my head. We were at Tennessee Tech, and the game was over. And Misha had told one of their guys, like, hey, is there any way we could score some dip from you guys? Because they get it for free, obviously. They get anything they want. Yeah. So one of their guys comes walking across the field, like when we were all like over in our little section. He comes walking with a bunch of dip towards us. And Misha's like, nope. And he like laid down on
the ground. Yeah, that's him. Speaking of Tennessee Tech, you always played like a freaking rock star at Tennessee Tech, DJ. What was up with that, dude?
I don't know, man. I probably hit the farthest ball I've ever hit at their field, to be honest with you. I crushed one dead center off some guy throwing like 95. I just closed my eyes and swung as hard as I could, basically. And, I don't know what it was. I had a lot of good games against Tennessee Tech for some reason, but that was a lot of fun, man.
We rode back from South Alabama one time. I think we were playing Southern Poly. And did y'all play with Donnie Cruz?
Oh, yeah.
For the naked drive?
Yeah.
No, we've discussed that a little bit.
So you had Donnie driving with his hat over his crotch. And then you had Lumpy in the back yelling IHOP every time you saw an IHOP and headbutting the top of the van. And I was spraying boogers everywhere that I could spray one and wiping them. It was just
on the top, yeah.
Dude. Yes, that's college baseball right there, dude. That's what you remember. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember the UT game. We played good one game and got our brakes beat off one game. Almost got in like 3 fist fights. That was awesome.
Chris Burke stole 7 bases on us in that one game.
Yeah, and he spiked Morgan because I tagged him in the face too hard.
Yep.
Bump that dude. Chris Burke, if you watch this, I'll meet you anywhere. Meet me at 250.
Yup.
Yep. And I remember the year, Shelton's senior year, when they told us we could, if we win, we can go play in the regionals. And then we won, and they told us we couldn't go play. That was heartbreaking because we had a good team, a good jail that year. I think we had a chance to go there and compete a little bit anyways. I remember when I sprained my ankle in the gym playing pickup basketball in Sperry's that Morgan probably let me borrow. And Jenkins got the catch against West Georgia at Ingle, and we won while I was on the bench.
Hey, I pitched that game.
Did you really?
Yeah, that umpire, he must have been cross-eyed or something, man. I don't know if you remember, but he was giving me like 6 inches outside, and so I just lived over there. And, they couldn't have reached it. I remember that big lefty dude was just reaching out there slapping at it, because it was so far outside, but that was a good memory.
That was one of the best wins we had while I was there. And I wasn't even on the field at all. And then obviously the Clark Atlanta game where me and DJ went 8-man on them back to back. And then I hit another one. And then I hit doubles. And I had that's my best day of baseball ever, for sure, as far as on the field stuff. What else? Adam, I told this story to his family not too long ago. He was pitching in a fall game. He never was eligible in the spring. So he was pitching in a fall game, and he was sucking so bad. Like everything was an arm side pull, and I'm blocking pitches with nobody on base, So I gave him the Swor treatment. I walked up there and shoot him out. You know how he was. He goofy you know, all the time. He covered his mouth up like the camera's watching us or something. My boxers, he said. My boxers are twisted. I can't move. And I was like, whatever, dude, figure it out, you know. So we got out of the inning somehow, and he goes in the dugout and rips his boxers open at the seam. And he goes out the next inning. I'll never forget it. First pitch of the inning, he throws a fastball just right where I wanted it. Bap, strike. And I threw it back to him, and he caught it and did a little hop step shimmy, you know, like feeling good. And I cracked. I had to call time. I was on my knees laughing. It was hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's fantastic.
Well, a lot of good memories. My favorite one we talked about last time you were on is still the DJ snipe hunt.
Oh,
that was one of the best. And I wasn't there, but I remember when you almost got arrested. That was also a pretty cool memory. I didn't know it was as involved as it was. I didn't realize they were doing CPR on the guy down in the lobby after he got hit with that toilet paper wad.
you weren't in there?
No.
We took a 50-gallon drum of water and stole all the toilet paper out of the janitor's room. And we're just lighting people up. Got the, you know, the big old windows would open up?
Yeah.
And then, of course, I give in to peer pressure. And they're like, there's a pizza man. And I was like, light him up. And then the cop showed up. I pelted that poor dude. I apologize, though. What are we going to do with you, Howard? Man, there's a lot of good memories.
Yep. Well, I think I can speak for DJ and everybody on the team. Howard, you were the heart and soul of the team, man. You know, you were good about bringing on a young freshman guy who didn't know what he was doing, and always appreciated you, and you know, called great games, blocked a lot of really bad curveballs and stuff, and enjoyed getting to play with you.
Yeah, Howard, I got to tell you a couple things too, man. So, after you left, man,
things on you too, so be careful.
After we were roommates, obviously, man, I loved you to death. But man, you taught me so much about how to act on the game, man. You know, I was a hothead, mainly towards myself. I would get mad every out I made. I'd get overly mad, and I was real hard on myself. And you brought me down to earth a little bit and helped me, you know, maintain that and have a lot more success the older I got and the more I got into college ball. And that's for sure something you helped me with, no doubt, man. And I'm forever grateful to you for that, because it helped me to stay within myself and to be a better ball player, no doubt, because I was battling myself a lot of the time. But man, we had a lot of good times, you know, in the room together as roommates, and you know, a lot of things just that we can't really say, but a lot of fun, man. And beating Alabama A&M was another big win we had one time too. We beat those guys, and you know, and we had some good ball players. There's no doubt. There was just a few things looking back that just didn't click for us, and a few things that if they would have changed, maybe we would have been a lot better. But it was a lot of fun, man, and a lot of fun to play with you, man. I always talk about you two all the time with, you know, my family and everybody I played ball with and everybody I coach. I bring up a lot of stories, and it's just a lot of fun to play with you, man. You were definitely the heart and soul of the team. When I got there, you know, coming up from the Chicago area, man, and I just got recruited by Skinny in Templeton, and I didn't know anything about the South. I'd never been down there, and I just was a culture shock for me when I got down there and saw all you guys, man, and you guys kind of took me under your wing, and you know, you did definitely accepted me right away, and that helped a lot too, or otherwise I probably would have been out of there pretty fast. And it was a lot of fun, man, and definitely a lot of good times.
Man, I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. You both were okay at baseball, but no, y'all are awesome teammates, man. A lot of those dudes, man, I wish I could reconnect with a lot of those dudes. I remember your lack of ability to wear clothes that weren't wrinkled. I remember the dress code being an issue. I remember pleated pants for some reason still being in your wardrobe. But no, man, that's what I do. I'm just clowning. But yeah, y'all are both dudes. I'm glad to see y'all doing so well too, man. You both look good. except for Swor's hat, you know.
I still got it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got a little beard going. Was that a full beard there? Oh, yeah. Boy.
Just cut her down a little bit. It was getting a little long on me. A little bit too much gray poking out.
He's still got all his hair too, man. I'm jealous of his hair. He's got a beautiful head of hair.
Ooh, okay.
I got nothing like that, man. I'm looking terrible.
Had some implants probably, or
I need some implants, man. There's no doubt about it.
Well,
oh, man.
how does Joey Wendell ever hit a baseball? I don't understand.
I'm going to have to pay attention to this swing.
It's out and around and weird. I don't know how he does it. You got
not get it.
World Series, Swor.
I'm going to have to do better. I told DJ today I got behind on King of Queens, you know.
Gosh. You just finished the Golden Girls?
The Golden Girls, man. The King of Queens is awesome.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
Uh,
Well, Brian, next time we get on here, I think we're going to have Donnie Cruz. So, man, you got to tune in.
No.
Yes, sir.
That would be, please let me know. That would be awesome. I love that dude.
he's 65, so he's retired now.
Yeah, he was like drawing Social Security when he was playing right field somehow.
Yeah.
It's so weird, dude. Dug out drinking Gatorade and he had like Pepto-Bismol in his back. We're like, what are you doing, dude? Why do you have that? It's so weird. He had a AAA card in his back pocket.
We gotta get the reunion back, guys. I keep saying it every time. I actually talked to Salyers a little bit this week about maybe trying to rent Ingle one evening, maybe next summer or whatever.
Oh God, that would be beautiful, man.
It would be the bomb, man. We gotta just make it happen.
Yeah, we had a blast a few times that we did it. I still got all those pictures and stuff, man. That was cool. I tried to catch one game. That wasn't pretty. But, man, I gave those, like the second year, I gave those kids a hard time. I felt bad about that. I was ready for those poor kids.
I didn't feel bad at all. We beat them, man.
Yeah, I know.
How bad is it? How bad of a college? And you know what's bad? They had a good year that year. I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but they won a ton of games, and they got beat by the alumni.
Who couldn't have cared less about that. We were just there for social hour.
So true. That was awesome, man.
It was.
Ben Foster can pitch, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Phew. That's a good question. Who's the best player you played with at Temple? He's in the conversation for sure.
He's top of the list for me.
Yeah, I think he's probably the best.
Got to be the guy, doesn't
All
he?
around.
He can do it all, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to be the guy. He just, I mean, we had a bunch of guys that played some independent ball. If you guys get drafted and if you guys got really close, and we had a lot of really, really, really good individuals, man.
Have you guys ever thought about how hard it would be to recruit someone to Temple?
Oh my God.
Seriously, I thought about that the other day. It's like, how did we had some good players. So if you're Coach Hall or Coach T, and it's like, hey, come visit our campus. You know, we want to walk you around. I mean, if you visited anywhere else, you're going to be like, huh?
Yeah.
But you know what, though,
the
man?
one thing they could sell you on was Ingle. The one thing they could sell you on was Ingle. But I remember
where they got me.
my only memory of Temple of the visit was Ingle.
Yeah.
And so when it was like, all right, it's first day of fall practice. All right, where is it? Oh, it's not at Ingle. It's at what? You know, you show up.
Avondale?
Like, huh? This is worse than my high school field. What? Wait a minute. And then it's like, oh, we're having BP. Where is it? It's in that old elementary school building over there. You walk in there, you step over about 5 or 6 pews, you go back through the asbestos, and the batting cage is on the stage of an auditorium, an old auditorium.
That's right. Yeah.
No heat, no air, but a lot of good times though, man. I'm like you guys. I'm glad I went to Temple, but I've often wondered about that. How does Ben Foster, who could probably go a lot of places, end up at Temple? I mean, it's crazy.
We set up an American Gladiators course one day in there. That was awesome. We're just each other with like those yellow dimple balls, like
Yeah.
8 miles an hour. We weren't getting better at baseball, but we were having fun.
So
It was a ball.
this is a story I was going to tell. So, Howard, you remember when we used to have those fall World Series? Those were some of the best times, man. We would get I can't remember if it was, you know where I'm going with this. We get a 5 or a 7 game series. I can't remember what it was. And
It was 5.
was it you and Casey that were the captains on that, I think? So, yeah, I remember very vaguely that I was a little ticked off at you because you took Foster with your first pick, which made total sense. I get it,
Okay.
And I was just like, man, dang it, and then I got put on Casey's team. And so the problem with this whole thing is I've hit Foster okay. I got a few off of him. But then here comes Howard in, and he's pitching. And he gets me out every single time in that fall World Series. I don't know if I've ever been more mad in my entire life than when he got me out and I had to hear about it for the rest of the night.
Yeah, it was a complete game shutout. I felt pretty good about it. Actually, the last out of the game, so weird that I remember this, was a pop-up from Casey Caldwell directly to me. And I spiked the ball and started cussing immediately. That was so fun. That was so fun, that series. We got a blast about it, Yeah. We had lineups and rosters posted and pitching rotations. Remember those little bleachers that sat on the side over there? I've got a picture. I don't know who would have taken it, but it's all of us just piled up in the bleachers like water break or something. And I got a picture, man, and we just look ragged, Nobody we look like the Confederate Army sitting up there. Matches. Everybody's navy blue is kind of light blue with sweat stains. Everybody's red is kind of pink and gray pants. Everybody's got holes everywhere, But we got tough, like, yeah, let's go.
I swear my navy blue shirt that I was issued from Temple, I think I was about its third owner, guys. I mean, someone else's sweat stains are in there.
No doubt. No doubt. My
My
only other request is if you get Donnie Cruz, you got to find my boy Kansas for me, man. I need to see Buznitz. I love that dude. He was,
yes, sir.
Y'all seen him, heard from him, talked to him?
I've seen him a few times, actually.
Really?
Not recently, but, he was doing mission work there for a minute.
Yeah.
And he stopped through Charleston at least twice, and both times got to hang out with him a little bit. Still the same old guy, man. He's still awesome.
Just a simpleton going through life, swinging hammerhead, son.
Yeah. We talked about him a little bit, man. I remember the first time I got to face him, freshman year. Dude, you talk about foreign looking, man. I don't know how anybody ever hit that. Of course, he ended up getting injured, and it kind of messed him up. But, gosh, it just would just bore in on your hands, man. You couldn't get away from it. And if you didn't swing, it was a strike somehow. It was just unbelievable. And then right as you had that timed up and were ready, then you had the big sweeping slider, and you're toast, man.
And he worked so hard, man, he came from nothing to be – I think he could have played. If he stayed healthy, he could have played as long as he wanted to because he could have been a specialist,
Yeah.
It was nasty, nasty stuff.
The only time I ever reached out to him was after the Royals won the World Series. I reached out to him and talked to him a little bit. And I haven't heard from him since, but our goal is to kind of reach out to as many of those guys and have them on here to catch up as we can. And
yeah, man. Well, I appreciate y'all having me on, man. It's always good to see you boys.
Yeah, you too, man. For sure.
All right, well, I guess we'll wrap it up till next Monday. We'll talk about games 6 and 7, I guess, at that point, and Donnie Cruz, DJ.
That's the plan. That's the plan.
All right. Well, it's good to see everybody, and until next time.
See you guys.